everyone. Well, welcome to the next episode of Punching Through. I am so glad to be with Mimi Carsley today. She is the CFO at Jack Henry. Mimi, we both have an affinity for Jack Henry, so it's nice to like cross paths in this way. Do you want to just kind of give everybody some history and some of your background and what brought you into fintech and all those fun things?
Sure. So unfortunately, we never overlapped, Tiffany. You left right before I joined. I've been at Jack Henry about a year and a half, joining and shortly thereafter becoming the CFO of Jack Henry. So super excited to be a part of such an amazing organization. I've spent my career at the intersection of finance and technology. And so just a really strong leadership team. And a strong mission. And so I feel really supportive of what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, was there a specific experience that like kind of comes to mind as a leader? Like you've done some incredible things just to get you where you are today and then beyond. Like what when you reflect back was like super pivotal or like shaped you as a person or shaped you as a leader that you want to just kind of share with everybody?
Yeah, so my CFO journey is probably not a straightforward ladder type of role. I believe in your broader experience leads to how you problem solve and your perspective as a leader. And so I've done a number of different roles, whether it be corporate finance and treasury and FP&A at different organizations, business unit strategy, business unit CFO across my career at Microsoft and then in wealth management. And so I think that makes me a better leader. So I wouldn't say I think it's a journey. I don't think there's one pivotal moment for me where I'm like, aha, that's it. I would say there's some, really key moments where people took a bet on me. I like to say my 15 years at Microsoft, I had 5 different careers. And I probably wouldn't hire any of myself or most of them. I didn't have the resume that screamed the most apparent, background. But I think that's where as leaders, we take bets on people. If you've proven that you can execute, you can build networks, that you're an effective, worker, then people take a bet on you. And Microsoft was an outstanding culture for that. And so I was just lucky and fortunate to be in a number of roles where people allowed me to really leapfrog all over the place and diversify my experience, which I think today is one of the reasons why I'm in the role I'm in today.
Yeah. That's really, I think pressing for all of us to think about, just like hopping around and trying different things and, really rounding ourselves out just from an experiential standpoint and a competency standpoint. Is there anything like a specific skill or maybe that you would tell your younger self or like, hey, really work on this piece? A lot of women talked about confidence and not knowing all the answers, but like kind of what's your thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think people are often too tunnel visioned. They think directly the role right in front of them. To me, I think there's 2 things. One, there's the technical skills that the acumen that you're going to need for that role, and just being open to not knowing where the path might lead you, but just thinking about each role of, does this help me grow? Am I adding value? Do I bring my skill set to bear to the organization to solve a need? And there were a couple of times in my career that, frankly, I wrote the job description. The role didn't exist, but I found I could bring something to the table here. We have a need as a business. Let me try and do it. And so I think people sometimes think too literally. Or they'll say, I can go something completely different. And the reality is at a certain level in our career, we're people managers. We're managers of other leaders. So I think that from a technical skill is always important. And then I think it's the leadership. It's the having empathy, figuring out how to lead people in different ways and customize messaging to different people and how to get the best out of each employee. If I was talking to my younger self, and I have 2 teenage kids, so I kind of talk to my younger self all the time. I mean, when I give them the career coaching, I'm like, this is what I wish I knew. but I think you can never go wrong with those fundamental skill sets. So like auditing, bank training programs, corporate finance, investment banking type roles, because I think they really help you understand how a business works, like the full end to end. When you're in an audit function, or you're working for a credit agency, or you're an investment banker, you really understand, you see a lot of different businesses, you see a lot of different industry maturities, and it really helps you think about the fundamentals of a business and how a business operates. So I always think those broader type of roles that get you vast experience and exposure are great foundational roles.
Yeah, that's such great advice. I totally agree. What do you want to speak of for other women? I mean, what encouragement would you bring, or I don't know, what do you wish for them? Like as you look forward, things that maybe you appreciated, but like you see have changed, and maybe more change that you want to see going forward.
Yeah. So I'm lucky to work in an organization that we're over 47% women in the workforce. So that's pretty close to parity. A lot of that was some of the contributions you made in your time at CHRO. So I never feel like I'm on an island as a woman at Jack Henry. I think we're actively trying to increase the population in certain types of roles. Like finance is usually an area where there's a lot of women. HR is an area where there's lots of women, marketing and the like. But what I'd love to see is those science-based roles, those engineering and STEM roles, to get to a place where we have, 50-50 in those roles in coming years would be really fantastic. Because I think, to me, it's around diversity of thought. But by having a diverse workforce, does that really enable you to think about all of your customers differently and your constituencies, and build products and solutions aimed at a much wider universe of potential clients?
Yeah, that is so well said. I think we all want to see more of that, and that's just a lot of why we're doing what we're doing with Punching Through, and just trying to bring those voices forward and give everybody that encouragement and kind of that oomph to get out there and take the risk. But thank you so much for joining us today, Mimi. Your wisdom and your thoughts are priceless, and I know we'll speak volumes to a lot of the listeners. So. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I would just encourage everyone out there to, pay it forward. Think about how you can sponsor someone else, how you can be a mentor officially or unofficially, how you can take bets on people that aren't maybe in that traditional silo. But if someone's just a top performing person, take a bet on them, and I think it'll pay off.
That's perfect. I love it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.